Today we're going to be installing some rear coilovers for the Datsun 510. Fully adjustable, they got a shock and a spring combined in one. Totally mounts in the stock location back here that I will show you guys. But so what's interesting about this is naturally the 510 has a strut and a spring separately. Here you can see the spring. The strut I just took out. It attaches. It looks just like the coilover, but there's obviously no spring on it. It attaches in this nub right here. There's a threaded hole, and then just up there it goes through. So I took that out, but so this is kind of the interesting part. Definitely if I could do it over again, I would do the diff after I did the coilovers, because the setup is I could either drop this whole rear end completely, in which case it would free up all this area and I could remove the spring. But the way it is right now, I can just reduce most of the tension on the spring on this jack, because obviously the strut's gone. So when I lower this whole thing is gonna drop. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use the angle grinder and cut out 2 coils from this spring, and that's gonna allow me to take that out. And then I will be able to replace it with just a strut and spring all in one. So now I'm gonna cut these coils out. So I've already lowered this part of the rear cross member. So you can see there's kind of an angle coming from the diff to the wheel. I don't wanna drop it anymore, because if you bend these over about 30 degrees, the ball bearings will fall out. I don't know if they will now that I have them assembled, but I just don't wanna risk it. So I've tried to reduce all the tension that I can in this spring so that it's not a dangerous cut to make. There's definitely still like a little bit of tension, so when I break through it will kind of move a little bit, but just trying to play it as safe as possible. Always wear face protection, eye protection, whatever you can. And I'm just gonna try to cut these 2 coils right here, take them out, and then this should just drop out pretty easily.
Slow-mo that shit.
You can excuse me, sir.
Oh, you're trying to talk? Oh, you're trying to do it.
You can see here that the spring has been successfully removed. It took about 2 1/4 coils. It's kind of a tough fit to line all these things up right. You definitely kind of got to force this in a little bit, but then once you tap it in, then it's pretty good. And you want to just reuse the stock bolt that comes on your struts. It just threads in right back here, just to secure this guy down. And I'll show you guys a shot of the top. So what we got going on in here, I'll tighten that down too. I'm not sure the torque specs, but we'll figure it out. And you can just comment, and if I know them, I'll reply. But yeah, pretty much same thing as the front coilovers. You got square threads, so you just kind of set your ride height, fully adjustable. Set screw right there to, once you pick your ride height, you just turn that, and it'll set your height. Pretty overall a nice swap from the separate spring and shock to combined adjustable coilover, and we'll see how it looks on the ground.